Carolina Duke. We got Cal Stanford tonight, another great rivalry.
Yeah, everything's on the line, bragging rights, right? So in this Bay Area, this Bay's not big enough for both of these schools. With your co-workers, your neighbors, all want bragging rights. Heck, even family members, sometimes there's houses divided.
Or coaches that worked on both sides of the Bay.
That's right.
But for Stanford, they have one of the dominant big men in the country. You look at Maxime Reynaud, who leads the ACC in both scoring and rebounding.
I absolutely love this kid because he can do everything on the basketball court. He can use his right hand, his left hand. He uses his length extremely well. He can stretch the defense and shoot it all the way out to the three-point line. He plays with power and a ferocity. He's third in the nation in rebounding. He leads the country in doubles with 20. This kid is absolutely the total package.
A big man that can stretch the floor for Kyle Smith in Stanford. Here are his national ranks in terms of scoring, rebounding, the most double-doubles, and that's what Cal's going to have to try to shut down tonight here at Maples Pavilion in the 7-1 senior big man for the Cardinal. On the other side for Cal, their leading scorer, it's interesting because this used to be his home. Andre Stojakovic, last year as a freshman, played for Stanford. Went into the transfer portal, ended up at Cal, and now back in Maples Pavilion for the first time since he left Stanford.
And you know he wants to light it up this afternoon, this evening, because this 6'7" playmaker is a scorer, good passer. He's got good speed and footwork. He can get anywhere on the floor that he wants to go. Stanford's going to try to make him play in a crowd as much as possible, because if he's in open space, he's absolutely deadly.
So Stojakovic, fifth in the ACC in scoring at nearly 18 a game. It seems to be back on track now after he had a little bit of an illness and a hip injury he was dealing with for the former Stanford great. He's in the Stanford Hall of Fame, part of the 1998 Final Four team, a two-time NBA champ. Mark Madsen coaching against his alma mater tonight.
That's got to be a little weird for him, talking this morning in the shoot-around, back here in this building, second time back. And, I think he's probably got a little nervous tension when I was talking to him. He felt a little uneasy coming back here for the first time. But his team, after having dropped 3 in a row and a brutal overtime loss at Georgia Tech, he wants to see his squad get a win by any means necessary.
Yeah, heartbreak for Cal and Andre Stojakovic. In their last game at Georgia Tech last Saturday, a tip-in to end the game in overtime by Dongo, and a 90-88 win for Georgia Tech over Cal. And the Bears have had a full week off, and I think both sides will welcome the full week off, Scott, considering how much travel they've taken on this year.
Yeah, it does take a toll. I know Madsen said he gave his team both off Sunday and Monday. They've had a great week of practice. I was at Stanford's practice yesterday. High energy. I'm looking for good things from both squads tonight.
Jalen Blakes, the grad transfer from Duke, missing the 3. And Ritas Petritis, the rebound for Cal.
Well, that's something Cal does really well. They shoot blast, not only on the defensive end, especially the offensive end. Petritis is a master at getting on the offensive glass.
They lead the ACC in offensive rebounding at over 13 a game. Shot clock down to 10. Mady Sissoko for Cal, the grad transfer from Michigan State. Sissoko lobs it over Maxime Reynaud, and then Reynaud lost the rebound out of bounds, will stay at this end, and it goes back to Cal.
Very unfortunate. Fantastic defense that time by the Cardinal, but Blakes and Reynaud battling for the ball. They fumbled it out of bounds. How about Reynaud? He switched on to Jovan Blackshear and stayed right with them. That's one thing. He's a big man, but he's not a stiff. He uses his legs really well.
Osiah Sellers strips the ball. And then he lost the ball looking to attack, and Cal counters with the freshman Jeremiah Wilkinson. Wilkinson attacks, and the rebound, Ryan Agarwal for the Cardinal.
Well, I like that by Reynaud. Stayed long and tall without fouling.
Short on the 3. And the rebound falls to Andrei Stojakovic for the Bears.
I'm a little surprised. Cardinal coming out jacking up these three. 2 long shots and a turnover to start the game.
Mid-range jumper missed by Stojakovic. And Stanford will slow it up. We're 90 seconds in and still looking for points.
Yeah, I see Coach Smith over there screaming at his troops. Take the ball inside. A little high pick and roll, trying to get Renaud down on that block he loves so much.
Loose ball to steal. Jeremiah Wilkinson will race in. And the game's first points belong to Cal. The steal and bucket for Wilkinson and Kyle Smith, an early timeout.
Yeah, a quick timeout, but he needed his team. 2 turnovers and 2 bad threes to start this game.
A minute 47 in, and Kyle Smith takes his 30-second timeout. Trying to settle his guys down?
Yeah, absolutely. Look at their start. They haven't been, playing against live competition in 7 days. Just wants to calm them down. Say, hey, let's just get back to doing what we do best. And this is his high pick and roll with his bread and butter. But they got to get Renaud the ball down the block.
And now you get ramped up for a rivalry game. Renaud forced out. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Oziah Sellers had space. Had a good look. And they're playing volleyball underneath, and Jeremiah Wilkinson, the shortest guy in the court, comes away with it for Cal. Madi Sissoko couldn't have control of the basketball, and Stanford brings it back the other way with Jalen Blakes. Donovan Young, and he was out of bounds. And another lost possession for the Cardinal.
Very sloppy to start this basketball game. What is that, 3 turnovers now, a number of questionable shots from on the outside. They've got nothing in that painted area. No drives, no post-ups. This is not Cardinal start that they wanted.
And the first time around when these two teams played in early December at Cal, it was the inaugural ACC game for both teams. Stanford won it 89-81. It was a high-scoring game, and both teams shot it extremely well. Jovan Blackshirt, the tip-in, Ritas Petritis.
That's what he does. Almost 3 offensive rebounds a game in ACC play. He has been an absolute beast on the boards. Got to put a body on him. Cannot jump with it. Doesn't look like he's the most athletic player, and then he just goes and grabs it.
From the weak side, and the putback missed by Donovan Young, and here comes Petritis. 3-on-2 for Cal. Stripped out of bounds, 14 on the shot clock for California.
Yeah, you see, anytime Andrei Stojakovic catches that basketball, their emphasis in their film study yesterday was to make him play in the crowd. They want him to see a body or 2 at all times.
Here is Stojakovic lining up a 3. And Cal off to a 7-0 lead on Stanford.
Wow, I'll tell you what, that was good offense, good execution of their baseline out-of-bounds play. Stojakovic is coming off a nice basketball game. He had struggled for a little bit, but he had 22 at Georgia Tech when he knocked in 4 3-point shots.
He's had 10 20-point games this season and a couple of 30-point games. Last year as a freshman, had a solid opening season at college basketball for the Cardinal and for Jared Haas, who was coaching Stanford last year. And Stojakovic averaged 8 points a game last year for the Cardinal.
Yeah, and how about that defense right there inside by Sissoko? He comes out of his position, comes across, and swats that one away, keeping the Cardinals stuck on 0. I love when the big guys come over and get those block shots.
I never would have suspected that. Was that your best defense coming over on the help side?
Yeah, I got plenty of blocks, but also plenty of fouls. They called on me in the ACC. I would be the ACC's all-time foul leader. That's something Jordan never did.
Off the inbound, Maxime Renaud breaks the seal for the Cardinal.
You can't keep the big guy shut down forever. Beautiful execution by his the baseline out of bounds play by Coach Smith, ends with a high percentage dunk for Renaud. Let's see if that's the play that gets the Cardinal going.
Andrei Stojakovic fouled on the drive. And that's on the freshman Donovan Young of the Cardinal, but slow start for Stanford, and Mark Madsen will take this for Cal.
Well, when you're struggling to score, what do? You get the ball to the best college seniors in all of basketball for the slam dunk, and I love this one out here by Stojakovic, knocking it down.
Cal, the early 7-2 lead on Stanford, and tonight honoring the College Basketball Hall of Famer, longtime Stanford coach, the Cardinal all-time winningest leader, who also happened to coach across the Bay at Cal. One of the unique things about this rivalry, 18 years at Stanford, 6 at Cal, and one of his standout players for the Cardinal, none other than Cal head coach Mark Madsen.
Yeah, hey, coach still looks good, and then look at these highlights of Madsen. He was just a beast in college basketball, so strong. Rebounder, uses length around the basket. It's going to be weird for Madsen to come back here, though, as the Cal coach.
First off, before we get to Mark Madsen, the highlights, he's dunking on Duke. That had to bring a smile to your face.
I love that. I'm still smiling over here. Love to see anybody dunk on Duke.
But went into the Stanford Hall of Fame. He's still among the top 10 all-time rebounders in Stanford history. And one more shot for Andrej Stojakovic, who has the distinction of playing now on both sides of this rivalry. And he goes 1 for 2 from the line.
Yeah, 82%. Are surprised he even missed one. He's locked in. He knocked in that triple. Normally the triples go in, the free throws go in as well. Let's see, Stanford's got to get themselves going here. 1 of 7 from the field, 3 turnovers, 0 of 3 from the three-point range.
Jalen Blake's going inside for the Cardinal.
Well, that's what they need, right? Their last 2 buckets, high percentage shots, a dunk and then a little right-hand hook from 6 feet right in front of the basket. So starting to pick up their inside attack.
Jovan Blacksher has it knocked away. And a loose ball, here come the Cardinal. Reynaud underneath, and a foul. And bodies went crashing. Stojakovic down, Maxime Reynaud down, also Donovan Young. And the foul was on Andrej Stojakovic of Cal, sending Maxime Reynaud to the foul line.
Well, that's what Stanford needed, right? They were struggling to score from the outside. I mentioned 0 of 3 to start the game. Then they go inside for 2 buckets. Then they get a steal. They're off in transition. You got the big fella at the rim trying to slam down another dunk. So I think Cardinals starting to find their balance offensively.
78% foul shooter Reynaud, and one more coming. ESPN Big Monday triple header. Scott Williams, North Carolina Tar Heels, and Florida State start us off at 7 Eastern, followed by a terrific matchup, a couple of top 10 teams in the Big 12. Number 5 Houston had a good win at home with game day in Houston today, taking on Texas Tech, the 9th-ranked Red Raiders, after Houston beat Iowa State earlier today. Then we cap it, another Big 12 matchup in Boulder. Number 23 Kansas, who bounced back after taking a big loss at BYU on Wednesday night. They got it going again against Oklahoma State today, and Bill Self will bring the Jayhawks out to Boulder to take on a KU grad, former Kansas Jayhawk. Tad Boyle, the coach of the Buffs, is Andrej Stojakovic. Offensive rebound, Rytis Petritis to the line. And as you talked about already, Scott, Cal's so good on the offensive glass.
Yeah, and that was a big emphasis yesterday when I was at the Stanford practice, talking about getting these guys off of the offensive glass, putting a body and moving them away from the basket. And so far, Petritis has gotten 2 offensive rebounds in the early part of this game.
Second foul on the freshman Donovan Young. And Rytis Petritis, 76% foul shooter missing. And Cal is a team, 76%. Both teams shoot it extremely well from the line. But Cal just 1 for 3 from the stripe so far.
Yeah, I mean, Cal, they're number 1 in free throws made, almost 17 a game. We've seen them miss 2 early ones here. If you're Coach Madsen, you got to like the start of your basketball squad here, right? You're up 9-5. You're getting on the offensive glass. You're doing a great job defensively.
Maxime Reynaud with the left hand. And the tip, Ryan Agarwal wouldn't go, and Rytis Petritis pulls it down for Cal.
Well, Renault's got that, right shoulder turn to that left-hand jump hook. Now, that one had a little bit more range on it than he probably would have liked. But nice job getting inside again.
Jeremiah Wilkinson way off, but Cal keeps it alive. And a block. Jalen Blake's the foul. That'll send Stojakovic back to the line.
Oh, it looked like Blake's had pretty good position. He was waiting on Stojakovic. You don't really see in the black and blue the ACC here. They're going inside there. You tell me if Blake's is not set. Looked like he was sitting down there with a cup of coffee and a donut waiting on Stojakovic. I even think Stojakovic thought it was going to be on him. Got away with one there.
That seemed to be a big break for Cal. Stojakovic now won for the free throw line, considering if it was a charge, that would have been Stojakovic's second foul.
Well, they definitely avoided one kind of break. That first free throw was a little off kilter, so Stojakovic has dropped 2 free throws that did not find the range here, but they'll take that 10-5 advantage here. Still got Stanford discombobulated offensively.
Stojakovic has 5 of Cal's 10. Jalen Blake's curls off the screen, and a pull-up jumper by Blake's.
Oh, nice on rhythm coming off a man-sized screen by his big man, Renault. There was not a defender within 5 feet of Blake's when he knocked that down.
And some miscommunication, and Lee Dort throws it away. And that's a turnover on Cal.
Can't have those unforced errors when you're struggling. You've lost 3 in a row, and I love this one right here. Just that big screen, just laid out the defender. Blake's had all day to line up that free throw line jumper. But you've lost 3 in a row. You just can't have unforced errors, right? You're on the road against your rival. You got to be sharp.
High post to Maxime Renault. And he goes baseline and rattles out, and Stojakovic rips it down for Cal.
A big battle down low underneath. I like to see the big 7-footers playing with true strength around the basket.
And Maxime Renault denies Andres Stojakovic.
How about that length? Stojakovic in their first matchup, they blocked 5 of his shots.
And then Jeremiah Wilkinson climbs the ladder and took the rebound away. Wilkinson attacks. And the freshman missing inside. Last touch by Cal. We're going the other way. It's a Stanford ball.
Well, great job by Sissoko getting on the glass. That 260-pound frame. Look at that shoulders. Look at those biceps. You're telling me he's not flexing underneath, but he made the cardinal rule of putting that ball down. When you got that thing, chin it up under your chin, flare those elbows out, and then that's why you push that sled around all summer long in the weight room, so you can go back up with power.
But does a Golden Bear break a cardinal rule?
Well, you know what? That's pretty good. Did I say that? Yeah, I tell you what, he's got that great body. Just use that power.
Maxime Renault, the running hook.
Well, Sissoko's got the strength and the size, but Renault right now is showing his agility to get to open spots away from Sissoko where he can throw those little right and left-hand hooks.
Jovan Blackshirt. Here's DJ Campbell. Denied. Another block for Maxime Renault. And then Campbell missed the jumper, and Renault pulls it down for the Cardinal.
So the big man is showing why he's one of the top centers in the country, doing it on both ends. I love the first block shot, then stays with it, challenges the second shot, alters that, and then grabs the board.
Monty Sissoko goes up over everybody to pull the rebound down.
Sissoko said, hey, Williams, look at my rebounding ability. Snatched that one at about the 11th floor.
Jovan Blackshirt, shot clock rolling down on a step back 3. And the rebound tipped free, and Benny Keeler saves it for Stanford.
I love Benny Keeler. He's that guy that you need on your squad. I don't care if it's a high school, college, or the pros. He's a dirt worker, does all the little things to help the team win.
And the rebound tipped free, and Jeremiah Wilkinson claims it for the Golden Bears. Knocked away from Blackshirt. Chisholm Okpara racing up the floor, and Stanford has their first lead.
Oh, the live ball turnovers. They've had 2 of them that have led to easy opportunities for Stanford, and that one there makes it a lead change. Just when Cal, you thought that they had Stanford's number and they had them under control and collared here, the live ball turnovers and points in the paint have really hurt them.
6-0 run for the Cardinal. Cal has missed their last 7 shots from the field.
Yeah, Stanford's tightened up the defense.
Madi Sissoko had it stripped.
Oh, I think Okpara came over and got a piece of that.
Maxime Reynaud again launching a 3. This one goes for Reynaud.
How good is that? It's a little brush screen for Okpara. He takes the ball to the middle. 2 defenders go with him. Leaves Reynaud, the 31% shooter, 3 to fire from behind the arc, and he strokes it clean and true.
8 for Reynaud and a 9-0 Stanford run. Cal's gone over 4.5 minutes without scoring. And DJ Campbell all the way to the bucket ends the drought for the Golden Bears.
Well, that's what they needed, right? It's something to the basket. They've been trying to get these little mid-range jumpers. They've been getting blocked or not finding the mark. This time, take it all the way to the rack and get that high percentage shot.
And an offensive foul. Chisholm Okpara called for the charge. And Kyle Smith visibly animated and frustrated at the other end. Well, that is Maxime Reynaud's mom, Vanessa, who made the trek from Paris all the way from France to the Bay Area to come support her son, who's one of the top players in the country. This was pregame. Mom and son.
You gotta love that right there, man. Playing in front of your mama. You think there's a direct flight from Paris to San Francisco?
Oh, for sure there is.
Yeah. Got in. I got a chance to talk to her a little before the game. Said her husband's gonna be joining on Wednesday for the games on Wednesday and Saturday. That's a proud mama right there. And her son is off to a fantastic start in this game as well. 8 points. He's got a 3-point shot. He can play inside. He can play outside. I just love his game.
3 block shots already for Maxime Reynaud. And the last time around against Cal, Stanford in the 89-81 win, Reynaud had 20 points, hit 4 threes, 5 block shots in that game.
Yeah, he's a quick starter. He had 16 first half points in their loss. Look at another turnover by Giller.
A steal by Benny Keeler as Andrej Stojakovic threw it right to him, and he might have been having flashbacks from practice last year.
That'll drive Coach Madsen crazy. You know, his team struggle a little bit. You get timeout, go on the floor, and you turn the basketball over in your first pass.
Aiden Kamen backing his way in. Benny Keeler leans in, will get to the line. First foul on Jovan Blackshirt.
Well, it makes me smile. I had a chance in practice yesterday. Keeler's high school coach was in the gym. I was talking to him. I said, hey, I just absolutely love the way you have coached up Keeler. He's just a guy that just, walked on, earned a scholarship. Now he's out here. He's one of the first players off the bench for Coach Smith.
One more for Keeler, who was starting earlier this year, started each of the first 6 games for Stanford. And the Cardinal kind of adjusting things toward the end of the non-conference, and Benny Keeler started coming off the bench for Kyle Smith. As Keeler goes 1 for 2 from the line. He's dealing with an illness. The flu got him pretty good a couple of weeks ago. And now it's starting to feel like he's back in rhythm again. Deep 3, Andrej Stojakovic. Offensive rebound, Spencer Mahoney. And the redshirt freshman misses inside, but Cal gets it again. And another connection between these two programs. Spencer Mahoney redshirted for Kyle Smith at Washington State last year. and then transferred to Cal when Kyle Smith left the Cougars to take the Stanford job.
Well, I'm impressed by the way the guys in the yellow shirts get on that offensive glass. I know they didn't get a bucket on that possession, but you get 2 or 3 cracks at it over the course of 40 minutes, you're going to do okay.
Chisholm Akpara launching a 3. Not necessarily known for that, but 42% in his limited opportunities.
Yeah, Akpara is one of the guys I asked the sports information director about before the basketball game, and just said, hey, well, tell me about this guy. He said, hey, he'll do a little bit of everything tonight. You just watch.
Shot clock inside 10. Mady Sissoko backing his way in. And he left that short, and Ryan Agarwal saves it for the Cardinal.
Well, nice job limiting the California to just 1 shot in a rebound. They're going a little pick and roll here with Dealer.
Shot clock down to 5. And a whistle off the ball.
Yeah, I think it was on Mahoney. A little too physical on the post up there with Akpara.
First on Spencer Mahoney, but Stanford from down 7 early. They're up 6. With Scott Williams and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein with you. Maples Pavilion on the farm where Stanford leads Cal 18-12. And the Cardinals got a 13-2 run, but their defense has really stepped up the last 5-7 minutes.
Yeah, I see the 13-2 run, but look at the defense. 1 of last 13 field goals for the Golden Bears.
And Cal overall just 19% from the field. They are 4 for 21. And a Cardinal ball in the baseline here. Foul was on Spencer Mahoney of the Golden Bears before the timeout. Maxime Renaud, 8 points to lead all scorers. Andrei Stojakovic has 5 to lead Cal. Isaiah Sellers on a step back 3. That one rattles out, and Jeremiah Wilkinson another rebound. That's already 4 rebounds for Wilkinson as Rytis Petritis missing everything on a 3.
Yeah, when you're 1 of 13, you're coming out of a timeout. I know it's a transition after a quick rebound, but firing up a 3 out of the corner when you're not on good balance is not exactly the shot you want.
And some concern for Maxime Renaud. That's why they've stopped play here. And he seems to be in a little discomfort.
If it's his hip or his back, he's walking real gingerly. He's got a tear in those white tights, and there's a little banging underneath. So after letting them bang hard for 14 minutes, I think the officials are starting to try to clean things up a little bit here, and they're starting to call some of these contact fouls away from the ball.
First on Mady Sissoko.
Look at Renaud once again sliding those Nikes. It looked like his foot lands on top of one of his teammates there, Sellers, and he just kind of tweaked his ankle.
And Cal rips the ball away. Rytis Petritis, who leads Cal in steals this year, with another theft.
This is who's got to get going. Wilkerson, he's averaged about over 20 points in his last 3 games. He's got to get it.
And the pull-up jumper by Jeremiah Wilkinson, who averages 14.5 per game, and as the season has gone on, he's become more and more of a factor for Mark Madsen.
Yeah, the ACC, you mentioned it, since he's got the last 8 basketball games, he's averaging over 20 points in the ACC.
Isaiah Sellers drains a 3. His first 3 of the night. And that's an area where Cal has really struggled this year, is defending the 3.
Yeah, one of the worst in college basketball. But when you've got a big body 7-footer setting a screen like that, giving you a clean look, it's a lot easier to knock him down.
Ryan Agarwal pokes it free. Wilkinson gets it back, and a foul has been called. And Ryan Agarwal in disbelief. I believe the foul's on him.
Well, Agarwal almost had the steal cleanly, and I don't know if it was Sissoko or one of the Cal players jumped on the floor and tried to gain an advantage, but I think they're calling Agarwal.
They're going to the monitor here.
That's terrible.
And not exactly sure what was called on the floor. It appeared there was a foul on Ryan Agarwal. So it is under review. And they're trying to determine which Stanford player the foul was on.
You tell me if you see a foul here. After all the banging they've been letting going on here in the first half of this game, you don't tell me that's a foul? Officials got to pick it up.
They've called the foul actually on Marty Sissoko of Cal. So initially they pointed at Agarwal of Stanford, and now it's on Marty Sissoko of Cal.
Well, I don't like to argue with the officials or disagree with the officials on air, but this one is hard for me to figure out why this is just not just two grown men or two young men trying to play the game of basketball the way it's supposed to be played. Sometimes the officials just say, hey, we made a mistake. Let's jump it up in the center here.
That was in your day.
Nobody wants to admit they're ever wrong anymore.
Second foul on Sissoko, and Lee Dort takes over. That's a kicking violation on Rytis Petraitis.
Well, good thing.
And it stays with Stanford.
Good thing Petraitis kicked it, because Reynaud had his defender right on his back about 10 feet from the basket, and he was just getting ready to operate if that if that entry pass would have found him.
After a sluggish start, Stanford asserting themselves here. Inside 5 minutes to go until halftime. A double Maxime Reynaud, and it's stripped out of bounds by Rytis Petraitis. It'll stay with the Cardinal 11 on the shot clock.
I think Madsen had enough of Reynaud working him out down low. He said, we're going to bring the double team on Reynaud and see if we can't create a turnover. And at the very least, let's get the ball up out of his hands.
And a Stanford team that's been very good at home this year. 13-2, including 6-1 in the ACC. Wake Forest, the only ACC team that's come into Maples and won, as that's the largest lead now for the Cardinal, courtesy of Oziah Sellers.
Yeah, Roxy, that wasn't exactly the cleanest offensive possession, but Sellers figured out a way, made a little left shoulder turn, a little right-hand hook off of that left block.
And a foul, it's on Benny Gieler. And that's the first on Gieler.
I don't think that was in the act of shooting, so I think that's just going to be the baseline out of bounds. That's the fifth team foul on the Cardinal, and the officials, you can see, after not blowing the whistles very much at all the first 10, 12, 14 minutes of this game, now all of a sudden they want to try to call everything, try to clean this thing up so nothing gets out of hand here in the second half.
It is a rivalry game.
I got a rivalry game. You let them play. Let them bang. Hey.
Oziah Sellers called for the hand check. And that's the first on Sellers. Team foul number 6. The next one will put Cal into the bonus. And a Cal team that's trying to get things turned around again. The heartbreaking loss at Georgia Tech last Saturday. They've lost 4 out of 5. And a deflection, it stays with Cal.
Yeah, Petraitis ran into a roadblock underneath there by Maxime Reynaud. He was long and tall, and he thought he was going to, get Reynaud to bite on the pump fake. The young man stayed down. He had to try to kick it back out to the corner. They're lucky they end up with possession of this basketball.
Tough spot to inbound for DJ Campbell. Lee Dort backing his way in. And Dort goes to the basket.
And that was a big man, putting a lot of beef down there. Even the 240-pound Reynaud couldn't handle all that muscle along the baseline.
Oziah Sellers backs out for a 3.
Yeah, the Blakes missed a wide open player. I think it was Agarwal right underneath the basket. Skipped it to the corner and an air ball.
DJ Campbell fumbles it away, and that goes off of DJ Campbell, and it belongs to Stanford with 3.5 to go until halftime in Maples. Stanford up 23-16 on California in this ACC. Yes, the ACC matchup. Tom, I'll relay the message to Mark Madsen for you.
I like that. As a fellow big, anytime you can go inside for high percentage buckets, I mean, you're stuck on 16 points with 3.5 minutes to go. Nothing's working for you from the outside. You got to bang them inside.
And a foul out top. And it's on Cal. And that is their 6th team foul. First on Lee Dort, the transfer from Vanderbilt. So the next one will put Stanford into the bonus. The Cardinal have led by as many as 9. And they've equaled that largest lead as Jalen Blakes cuts to the basket.
Blakes with the tricky dribble. He rejected the screen. The screen had him coming off to the right. Cal had him played coming off to the right. He went back to the left. Smart move by Blakes. He found a lane to the basket. I could have gotten my big butt through.
And then Lee Dort throws it away.
I thought he was throwing it to me.
You were open.
my hands went up like that was coming my direction. I was ready to catch and shoot, baby.
8 Cal turnover.
Yeah. They've been real sloppy with the basketball here in this first half. You know, they've been getting on the offensive glass. They got 7-0 boards, only 4 points to show for it.
That's a long 2 from Mosiah Sellers, and Lee Dort had the rebound, lost it, but it's picked up by Jeremiah Wilkinson.
Yeah, just something to keep an eye on here. The big fella Reno, normally he goes after those rebounds. He's maybe just favoring that left ankle a little bit. That was in his space where he could have made an attempt on it, and he didn't really make a play on that rebound. Something to watch.
Second foul on Jalen Blakes, and a 1-and-1 for Jeremiah Wilkinson, who's an 80% foul shooter, and Maxime Reynaud trying to walk it off.
Well, maybe, you know, getting yourself to the free throw line. When you're struggling offensively, you're used to scoring 20 points a game. Now all of a sudden you get to the free throw line, you get a chance to work on your stroke.
Another missed free throw for Cal. They're just 3 for 7 from the line. And it's good foul shooters that have been missing free throws.
Well, like you said, there's some nerves in a rivalry game.
Maxime Reynaud left it short. Cal claims the rebound.
He threw his hands in the air like, you got to be kidding me. That's one of my favorite shots. Left hand hook right in front of the basket.
Spencer Mahoney. And Maxime Reynaud, the rebound for the Cardinal.
Wow, they're just getting nothing. You got to give credit where credit is due. This Stanford defense is doing its darn thing here. Doing a nice job on Wilkinson, not letting him get off that launch pad.
The other thing, Cal offensively has just 1 assist tonight. And Reynaud throws up a wild shot, but kept alive by Sellers. Still 10 on the shot clock.
Mismatch inside.
Benny Gieler, deep 3. And a long rebound to Jeremiah Wilkinson, who looks to race up the floor. Wilkinson glides in.
Coast to coast, like a blur down that left side of the floor. He just went all the way to the basket.
He leads Cal with 6. Maxime Reynaud, 3.
Well, he said he went inside for a bucket. He couldn't get one down low. So why not step out here behind the arc and knock down my second 3, right?
Largest lead for Stanford. Andrei Stojakovic clears some space.
Look at Reynaud. He's letting 7 seconds burn off this game clock, so there'll only be a small differential between the game clock and the shot clock, so they can get the last shot of the half.
And Mark Madsen was trying to get a timeout, and he was looking to save as much time on the clock remaining in the half because the old 2-for-1, right?
Sure.
He's going to have some time. That's why he was looking for the timeout. He was animated and frustrated. None of the officials recognized he wanted the timeout.
Well, after a score in the first half, the clock does not stop. So Reynaud, being crafty, realizes there's about a 10-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. He just starts tying his shoe. The officials let him do it, and the game clock keeps ticking. Now there's only a 3.4-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock, which means essentially Stanford can play for the last shot of the half.
That's the mad dog we used to see on the floor here at Maples Pavilion.
Yeah, Mark is livid about it. He would have had a full 10 seconds to get his team the last shot of the half.
The difference is the old mad dog could take it out physically on somebody.
You're absolutely right. We used to have some battles in the NBA. He was a rough. Neither one of us had much skill. We just had to go and beat the heck out of each other.
At least you understood your role.
We did know that. Hey, he rode at the 2 championships with the Lakers, and I rode Jordan's coattail for 3.
And Stanford throws it away, and Cal will have one last crack at it here with 13.6 to go. And Mark Madsen now will get that timeout. The official stopped the clock previously. Now Madsen takes that use it or lose it timeout. 30-second timeout for the Golden Bears. Looking for one last shot to make it closer heading into the half. 13.6 left in the half, and Cal can play for the last shot of the half after Stanford turns the ball over. And for as much as Cal has struggled here in the first half, under 30% shooting from the floor, they have an opportunity to make this a 6 or even a 5-point game here heading to the locker room.
Yeah, they'd be real happy with a bucket here with 6 seconds to go. And this is when you put the ball in your hands of your 2 best players, Wilkinson and Stojakovic.
Aiden Kamen blocks the shot of Wilkinson. There's still 3.8 left in the half.
Get that weak shit out of here. Have your corner going on. The corners are still hot. Only 5
Lee
to
Dort cuts to the basket off the inbound, and that'll take us to halftime. And a lift for Cal. As much as they struggled offensively, that last bucket's got to give them a little bit momentum going into the locker room.
Yeah, feeling a little bit better about themselves, down by 6 versus down by what could have been 10 or 12.
Tom Crean said go inside. Cal did. Now we go to Tom Crean and Zubin Mehenti in the studio with a halftime report. Getting ready for the start of the second half. Maples Pavilion. Cal and Stanford hooking up on the farm tonight. 28-22, the Cardinal with the halftime lead over their arch rivals from across the bay with Scott Williams and our ESPN crew. Roxy Bernstein with you. And in the first half, Stanford got off to a slow start. Their defense, though, was really good, and so was Maxime Reynaud.
Well, I love when a team gets into defensive stance and really picks it up, especially when the bigs are using their length around the basket. And there's no better big in the ACC than Maxime Reynaud. And I tell you what, he just started swatting shots left and right, telling these Golden Bears, you shall not pass, and just altering, changing shots. Even Okpara gets in on the action there. And then once they stop blocking shots, they went down to the other end and got some 3-point shots. Live ball turnovers led to easy opportunity, points in the paint. 8 of their 28 points came in that painted area, a number of them off of steals.
Some of the numbers from the first half, and Reynaud leading all scorers with 11 points, also at 5 rebounds and 3 blocks. Andrei Stojakovic, Cal's leading scorer on the season, was 7. But the Stanford defense suffocating Cal in the first half. The Bears shot just 31%.
Yeah, that's getting it done. And their 2 studs were 5 for 14. So Stojakovic and Wilkinson want to try to get off the launch pad quickly here in this second half.
And a whistle. That's the third foul on Donovan Young, just 20 seconds into the second half.
Well, the officials really started blowing their whistles in the second part of that first half and trying to clean this thing up a little bit. The game was played at a very black and blue style of play, and they didn't want things to get out of control here, and they're starting to blow that whistle early and often.
They actually called it on Blake's, and that's the third on Jalen Blake's, and not on Donovan Young, who now has 2 fouls. But that's a problem for Kyle Smith with Jalen Blake's now on the bench with 3 fouls. And that's an over and back and a turnover on Cal to start the second half.
Yeah, we've seen that out of Cal a few times, just kind of miscommunication, throwing the ball over here in the front row or throwing it right to a Stanford defender. That one there by Javon Blackshear. He's a 6th-year graduate. You got to be sure with that basketball.
9th Cal turnover and a kicking violation. And speaking of violations, we should point out, late in the first half when Mark Matson was so upset, the officials did give a delay of game warning to Stanford before inbounding the ball with about 36 seconds left in the half. And so the next one becomes a technical foul if they get another delay of game. Isaiah Sellers with a shot clock winding down, the fall-away jumper. That goes over the top of the backboard out of bounds, and we're going the other way.
Well, I see some good defense out of Cal. Let's give them some credit there on that possession. The big fella got the defensive slant, would not let the smaller offensive player beat him to the basket, made him shoot over outstretched hand. It's exactly the way you teach it.
Jeremiah Wilkinson, the pull-up jumper. Ryan Agarwal, the rebound for the Cardinal.
Yeah, Agarwal, I like this kid. He was out here, right, 2 hours before the Cardinals even had their shoot-around. He wheeled out the shot doctor and started getting some shots up on his own.
And he'll get to the foul line. It's on Javon Blackshear of Cal. The second foul on the Golden Bears point guard. And Agarwal, a couple of shots, 80% from the stripe this year.
Well, yeah, I love when hard-working dudes, put it in the lab, put it into practice, and then they can take it onto the court during the games and see some success. And he just realized, hey, I got a size advantage, a weight advantage. Let me just back the little defender right up underneath the basket. Couldn't get the free throw to go.
ABC NBA Sunday Showcase doubleheader as Jalen Brunson and the Knicks are in Boston to square off against Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. The Celtics at 1 Eastern, then it's Steph, Jimmy Butler, the new combo for the Warriors, taking on Kyrie and the Mavs. Coverage tips NBA Countdown, 12:30 Eastern on ABC. 1 for 2 at the line for Agarwal.
See, this is where Javon Blackshear's got to get a little bit better. He's got to start gaining an advantage by taking some guys off the dribble drive, making defenders have to help so he can find his shooters open looks on the perimeter.
Second foul on Benny Geeler. Javon Blackshear, the pull-up jumper. And Maxime Reynaud at the inside position grabs the rebound for Stanford.
Yeah, he just, that's what we didn't see in the first half on some of those rebound attempts. And just getting rebounds outside your position.
Reynaud has it blocked, and Agarwal fouled will go back to the line for Stanford. And that's foul number 3 on Blackshear.
Just 4 offensive rebounds in that first half for Stanford. And that time, Agarwal, he just went right behind his defender because he had to come over and try to challenge that shot by Maxime Reynaud. And these guys are well coached. I really like the culture that Mike Smith is developing here in his first year as the Cardinals head coach. Kyle Smith.
Last year's Pac-12 Coach of the Year when he was at Washington State.
Mike Smith was a guy I played against in high school. Went on
and the former BYU standout, right?
BYU standout and playing for the Boston Celtics. My old alma mater was in action last night in the CIF Championship. They dropped a heartbreaker, 47-45. Shout out to Wilson High School down in Southern California. You know, we won a state championship in '86 over in Oakland.
The Coliseum.
Yeah.
Reedus Petritus spinning. DJ Campbell launching a three, and that's way off. And Benny Geeler, the rebound for Stanford.
It seemed like there were 7 guys in white shirts out there just closing out, running guys off shots, challenging shots. Excellent defense.
Isaiah Sellers and one.
Well, they got that rebound, and it never seemed as though Cal was ever to get set defensively, and they just kept putting the pressure with screens and moving the ball, and I love this one right here. You just get that ball down below the painted area. Everybody's eyes go to it. That nice movement without the basketball by Sellers, and he gets an open look at the basket.
Sellers with 7 tonight, sparkling 87% from the line this year. And Stanford has now got their largest lead of the night.
Sellers is one of those guys that's made a huge improvement from where he was. The 5th biggest jump in the ACC from points per game from one year to the next.
And the problem that Sellers had at USC last year, as the teardrop wouldn't go for Ritas Petritis, Lee Dort the offensive rebound. Dort goes back up and misses, and Geeler claims it for Stanford, but Sellers was stuck. There was a logjam of guys. Isaiah Collier, Bronny James, Kobe Johnson were all at USC last year.
Yeah, 5.2 points last year and almost 14 a game here this season.
And that's a travel. Yeah. DJ Campbell gives it away.
Yeah, and I didn't like that last three-pointer by Agarwal. Felt like he just hadn't gotten one up in a while, and he rushed down into that three in transition. But boy, does this kid get it done defensively. So hasn't had the big game offensively that he's kind of accustomed to, but he's doing all the things on the defensive end.
And just to get back to Sellers, they also had Boogie Ellis at USC last year. So there wasn't that much playing time to go around, and Sellers couldn't crack the rotation. Ryan Agarwal to the bucket.
Well, he's got live legs, lots of energy. You see it at both ends of the floor defensively, and then they're just gutting them inside right now. They're just taking everything to the basket.
8-0 run for Stanford. In and out for Jeremiah Wilkinson.
Another rebound by Reynaud. After one offensive rebound by Dort, it has mostly been one and done here in the second half as the Cardinals now have their largest lead of this basketball game, looking to add to it.
Cal jumped out to a 7-0 lead. They only have 15 points since, and still looking to get points here in the second half. Ritas Petritis the rebound.
Yeah, not enough air under that shot by Sellers.
DJ Campbell, the first points for Cal since halftime.
Well, they needed that one there. A good clean look, kicked it ahead. Ball only hit the floor once on that trip down the floor, and nothing but a three from the right side. So good execution of your transition offense.
Donovan Young. And Jeremiah Wilkinson strips it away and saves it for Cal. Boy, they love Andres Stojakovic here, don't they?
Giving it to him. How about Geelers? He's come back and rebounded like 2 or 3 balls that have bounced long and snatched them up before the Golden Bears have been able to grab them. You telling me he's not locked in, wants this victory?
Foul on Cal, and Stanford up 11. Coming up, the man who's being honored tonight here at Maples. He coached both teams in this rivalry. Mike Montgomery joins us next. Well, it's fitting tonight with Cal playing Stanford that they're honoring Mike Montgomery, who had success at both schools, taking Stanford to a Final Four, winning 4 conference championships with the Cardinal, winning a conference championship at Cal, the all-time winningest coach in Stanford history, with the stint of the Golden State Warriors in between, and the college basketball Hall of Famer, Mike Montgomery, joins us. And how cool is this for you to be honored tonight?
Well, it really has been a great day. course, this got Eric Revenot's fingerprints all over it, but they've done a really nice job. I mean, they've really gone out of their way. A lot of the players have showed up, and crowd's good. This is the way the crowd should be all the time, in my opinion. And so it makes you feel good to be recognized. I had a great run here. I loved it. I loved it at Cal. We had success. So, come back and have people kind of remember who you are. It makes you feel good.
I bet 3 30-win seasons. You took the team to the Final Four. What was most special about your time here and at Stanford?
I think the quality of the people that we had a chance to deal with. They were just such good kids. And, we weren't always better than everybody from the standpoint of talent, but they played so hard and so well together that it really made it fun. So, boy, Stojakovic, he's getting raspberries, isn't he? As you would expect.
What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, no question. This is really a physical game. Both teams really getting after it defensively. Cal's really having a hard time getting a good shot. Stanford's working hard on defense.
For you, when you watch this Stanford program now, and Kyle Smith trying to get it back going again, what do you see with Stanford basketball?
Well, I think Kyle's a really good coach. He's won every place he's been. He knows how to win. He knows what it takes to win. Stanford is very unselfish. They really don't have anybody looking to get theirs. They know Renault is the key to this whole thing. But you take a guy like Benny Gieler, a walk-on from Rolling Hills. He's defending his tail off out there. He's into Cal's guards, and Cal's guards don't like that.
Ryan Agarwal, a 3, all 8 for Agarwal since halftime, and Stanford's opened up a 12-point lead, back to double digits. And on the other side, you coached at Cal, one of your former players who had a phenomenal career for you here at Stanford, Mark Madsen leading Cal. What have you seen from him in his transition now in year 2?
Well, he's some toughness. He brings a little bit of the NBA game to them. And I don't know talent-wise whether, that open style and guys, they're having a hard time getting good shots. They're driving in and they're not getting good shots off. So Mark will get it going. He's a really good coach and he's very well respected. He's just such a genuine person that I think he'll get it going. But right now, that's the best shot that Cal's gotten in a long time. So, it's still a ball game. Cal is in this, and they just got to find a way to get some open shots, and they're just not getting them right now.
Coach, I've seen a number of other coaches in college basketball now have decided to retire or leave the game because of some of the NIL and the transport portal. What are your thoughts on the way the college game has changed over the years?
Well, it's not my cup of tea either. I know Tony Bennett, for example. He was at Washington State, and I knew his dad. And it completely made sense for Tony to make that decision. It's just he wasn't comfortable with it. It's not who he is. I think Larinaga, same thing a little bit at Miami, although Jim's 75, so it makes more sense that he might think that way. And you're going to see some others do the same thing. It is pay for play, and you just got to buy into it. You got to not fight it. You got to go with the flow and hope that the university feels good about that, and still try to keep a modicum of discipline and team and spirit and all that sort of stuff. So we'll see. It's too bad that it's gone that way. I don't think it's sustainable. I think it's going to cause a lot of the Olympic sports to be cut and go away because they have so much money they're being spent on other sports. But there'll be another iteration here in a year or two, and then there'll be one after that. And hopefully, in the not too distant future, it'll all settle down and they'll figure out what they want to do. We need guardrails, and they've had a hard time with that in a court of law, coming to that conclusion and being able to pull that off.
Hall of Famer Mike Montgomery with us here at Stanford now. One more shot for Isaiah Sellers. And getting back to Mark Madsen, when you watch him coach and the way he runs his program, do you see some of what you did in him?
Well, of course, Mark, we were very physical, and because we couldn't match up quickness-wise with some other people, so we were very physical.
He knew what he needed to do.
Yeah. Well, and he told me one time, he says, I played in the NBA because you taught me how to get angles and how to duck and score inside because I couldn't shoot it. So as Mark starts to get more talent,
and Sissoko the follow slam.
Big transfer from Michigan State. What a physical specimen. But I think you'll see a little bit of trademark of what we did. You're seeing a lot more 5-out, just on-ball, pick and roll, spacing than you used to because people don't – because the transfer portal – kids aren't here. You know, they don't stay. All of a sudden, you got a new lineup every year, so it's really hard to teach like we were able to do it. But Mark will get it going. He's improved each year. Last year they were better than the year before. They're better this year, and I think you'll continue to see that from Mark. The kids love him because he's genuine.
I was saying earlier that Mark and I both had no skills. We had to be out there beating each other up or on the
As soon as I can remember that, yeah.
I'd love to get.
Congrats, Monty.
Thank
Happy
you.
for you.
Appreciate you talking to you
well
guys.
deserved.
Great talking with you.
Thanks.
Keep in the fairway.
My pleasure. All right.
All the favor. Mike Montgomery, come on.
Come on. Give me some. Give me some dap. All right. Well, I'm no Bill Walton, but what then?
Our thanks to Mike Montgomery for joining us, and he coached on both sides of the rivalry. Mark Madsen played on one side, coaching at the other. Jared Haas played at Cal, coached at Stanford, now, of course, on our team here at ESPN.
That's right.
There's Mike Montgomery as the Stanford coach, the Cal head coach. But we're not done. The current football coach for the Cardinals, Troy Taylor, a former Cal quarterback. Andrei Stojakovic playing in this game, played for Stanford last year, and we believe is the only player that has played on both sides of the rivalry. Then we showed you Mark Madsen, the women's basketball coach at Cal, Sharman Smith, played for Tara Vanderveer here at Stanford, and she's done a great job revitalizing the Cal women's program. The current baseball coach here at Stanford, David Esker, who was on the 1988 College World Series team for the Cardinals.
Nobody wants to leave the Bay Area. They just want to stay in the Bay Area.
Eske played at Stanford, coached at Cal for 18 years, and now is back at his alma mater. There is Tara Vanderveer, who is here tonight to come pay respects to Mike Montgomery.
1,216 wins. That's getting it done.
There's been some assistant coaches that have worked at both schools, like Tim O'Toole, who's in the ACC. Jeff Woolburn, who the head coach at the University of Denver. Charles Payne, who's a scout now in the NBA, coached on both sides. So there is some history. Would that happen at Carolina? Somebody going to Duke?
I couldn't have seen like somebody that played at Carolina going over and being the head coach at Duke the way Madsen's played at Stanford and now is the head coach at Cal. That would be too shocking.
You don't think like Wes Miller would ever go coach at Duke? No. Wes wouldn't do that.
I don't think so.
Wes doing a terrific job at Cincinnati right now. Largest lead of the game for Stanford. Madi Sissoko has it stripped out of bounds. We're going the other way.
Oh,
and just to add to the rivalry, so we keep praising Benny Gieler and the job that he's doing tonight. His girlfriend, Sophia, Cal student.
Okay, now that's going too far. I think they made a movie about that, didn't they? With Julia Roberts.
Ryan Agarwal the drop off and the finger roll by Aiden Kamen.
Wow, this is starting to get a little ugly now. It seems as though Stanford is having their way inside at the free throw line, getting high percentage shots. Largest lead of the game now, up by 17 and in cruise control.
6 in a row for the Cardinal to push the lead out to 17. But Cal just can't get looks, 29%. And the other problem for Mark Madsen is there's not a lot of sharing of the ball. Cal has only 3 assists tonight.
Hey, the Hall of Famer coach, Mike Montgomery, he came over here and he praised the job defensively that Kyle Smith and company had his team locked in here to a defensive game plan, and they are executing it to perfection. They've not let Wilkinson or Stojakovic really get hot at any particular time and hurt them.
One more for Jeremiah Wilkinson, our ESPN Big Monday triple header. 7 Eastern on Monday. Got Carolina Tar Heels taking on Florida State, followed by a couple of Big 12 matchups. A top 10 matchup between number 5 Houston, number 9 Texas Tech. We cap the night in Boulder with number 23 Kansas and the Buffs.
Yeah, don't
at
sleep
11
on the
Eastern.
Buffs. Buffs are hot. Buffs got a big win today.
Much needed win for Tad Boyle and the Buffs, as Wilkinson goes 1 for 2 from the line. Jalen Blakes, and the fall away from Blakes, and the rebound Andre Stojakovic for Cal. And Blakes crashes through the screen. And that's the 4th foul on Blakes, as both he and Sissoko went down.
Yeah, those legs really got tangled up there. Blakes came up gimpy. I had to get tangled up like that. You better call the paramedics to get me up off the court, because they really got tangled like a pretzel. Yeah, there's just a couple strong young men banging into one another, and both of them lost their balance. This is where the lower part of their legs, it looks like Sissoko lands on Blake's right leg, and his knee just goes into a funky position. Glad
in
that
the
young
bonus,
man's okay.
so 1-1 for Sissoko. 69% for the line for Mady Sissoko. And he'll get one more shot. Grad transfer from Michigan State, graduated, as you look at Blake's, the grad transfer from Duke to Stanford. But Sissoko got his degree in environmental sciences. Played 4 years for Tom Izzo, and taking advantage of the extra year, and he's at Cal.
Yeah, you play for Coach Izzo, you know how to play the game of basketball. He does his role real well. He sets good screens for his shooters, and he rebounds that basketball.
Steal for Jeremiah Wilkinson. Ritas Petritis blows the layup, and Stanford pulls it down.
I'll tell you what, even when good things happen to Cal, they get a steal and a shot at the rim, and they can't get it to go. Sometimes it just be like that, as they say in the park.
Just one of those nights. Aiden Kamen. And a foul will put Sellers at the line as Stanford's in the bonus.
Yeah, Cal's just been playing defense without sliding their feet. A lot of reaching already. The 8th team foul here. We still got 10 minutes to play in this second half.
One and one for Sellers. And the bonus for Oziah Sellers. Now 4 for 4 at the line. So just one game this week. They've had a whole week off. And it's been certainly a big adjustment for both Cal and Stanford, moving to the ACC and the extended travel that they are dealing with. And I think both teams welcomed having a full week off since playing on the East Coast last Saturday.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that week has kind of thrown Cal off rhythm, though? They're not used to taking a full 7 days off between games. They have not ever been able to get offensively on balance.
Jeremiah Wilkinson nails a 3. I think there's something to that, trying to find that game speed and rhythm again.
Well,
Cal putting some full court pressure on.
Yeah, man, you try to get some live ball turnovers and doing a nice job pressuring here in the backcourt. Maybe just try to speed up Stanford a little bit. Benny Keeler hoists the 3, knocks one down.
Benny Keeler 3.
Well, Keeler was that one bright spot off the bench for Duke. He went for 14 points off the bench in that blow-off loss to the Blue Devils on Saturday. So he knocked down a couple threes in that one, knocks down another one here.
Ryan Agarwal, a foul. And that will put Sissoko at the line. And Keeler's had some big games for Stanford this year. Earlier this year, he put up 20 in a game against Cal State Fullerton, hitting 6 threes.
Well, I love this one in transition because Agarwal's always got his head and his eyes up, and nobody just picked up Keeler on that left side. They left him all alone, and Keeler says, hey, you're going to leave me that open. I'm going to knock it down.
2 shots for Sissoko. Back to the line, 4 points tonight. And one more for Sissoko. An incredible story where Sissoko, over the years that NIL has been in the game of college basketball, and you've probably heard the story before, but if you haven't about Mady Sissoko, all the NIL money that he's received, he sends it back to his home, back in Mali, to help the community, the village where he's from, help schools, irrigation. He's doing anything he can to help his community. What a phenomenal young man Marty Sissoko is.
I love that he has that gear in him. I like that fact that Madsen has put on this little full court action in this press. He's got his guys more engaged here, not only in the backcourt, but here in the front court as well. They're getting deflections, they're getting steals, they're playing good chest-to-chest defense, and they still got a lot of time left in this. Just under 9 minutes to play. They can make a run here. And they get another steal.
Here comes Jeremiah Wilkinson darting up the floor. Wilkinson and one. Strong finish by the freshman Jeremiah Wilkinson. And he will go back to the line, leads Cal with 12 points tonight. And you talked about it, Scott, he's got to get involved if Cal's going to make a push.
Well, this Golden Bear is like a golden blur. There's twice now he has taken the basketball from one end to the other, and Stanford has not been able to match his speed, and he's gotten buckets at the basket twice. This one, an opportunity for the old-fashioned three-point play.
Second on Ryan Agarwal, and Wilkinson gets the free throw to roll through.
Well, once was a comfortable 17-point lead is down to 11 now and trying to get another turnover.
And the press that Mark Madsen has put on has seemed to bother Stanford. Not this time, as Aiden Kamen will get a couple of free throws.
Well, Kamen runs the floor exceptionally well, and when you're selling out and doing full court pressure, you got two guys on the ball 90 feet from defending your basket. It leaves an easy opportunity for that big to run right down the middle of the floor, what he's been taught since about the 4th grade. And then Raynaud's got such great court vision, he finds him in stride.
Kamen just a 50% foul shooter. And one more for the redshirt freshman from Andover, Massachusetts. And he missed both. Even though he got a couple of free throws, turns into an empty possession, and Cal could get it to single digits.
Well, and you get the ball back quickly, right? So it's almost like a turnover that he misses both of those free throws, and you got a chance now to cut this thing, like you say, to single digits.
Open look, knocked down. Christian Tucker's first points of the night. And for Tucker, only his 7th made three-pointer of the season, and Cal has trimmed it to 8, an 8-0 run.
Well, you got to love the way Cal is staying with it. It hasn't been pretty basketball with them, but all of a sudden they're putting them up and knocking them down.
So here's the bottom 7 right now of the ACC. We showed you the top half of the league when we came on the air tonight. But Cal's making sure that they stack up some wins here toward the end of the season to guarantee themselves a spot at the ACC tournament.
Yeah, and they definitely got to keep the pace here. And Syracuse getting a big win today, moved up to 5-11, and
Boston College
getting on the board. So yeah, this is important for them to fit. I don't know if they can come back and win this game, but they got to start playing with a little bit more sense of urgency, a little bit more momentum, a little bit more togetherness, find a rhythm and flow to their offense.
They'll have a tough week ahead with SMU coming to town and Boston College as well.
Well, this full court pressure has put some, jitters into the Stanford, and they're doing a nice job speeding Cardinal up to a pace that they haven't played all game long, and it's thrown them off balance offensively.
Maxime Raynaud too strong on the 3, and Marty Sissoko up over everybody for the rebound.
So Sissoko soared high for that ball. He wanted to make sure he got that rebound.
And Jalen Blake's back in the game for Stanford with just inside 8 minutes to go and his 4 fouls. So Kyle Smith letting you know what he thinks of this period of time where it's critical to stop the bleeding because Cal keeps coming, and the Bears from 17 down have cut it to 6.
Wow, what an impressive drive by Wilkinson. That's twice now, once coast to coast, that one in the half-court set. This man has been able to get himself right to the front of the basket. Nobody in Stanford can stop him.
15 for Jeremiah Wilkinson now. Again for three, Maxime Reynaud. That one rims out. DJ Campbell the rebound.
Well, Reynaud's bombing from the outside. He has not scored this half.
Wilkinson missing a three. And then Benny Gieler secures the rebound for Stanford.
They got to go back to their high pick and roll. Roll Reynaud down on that right block where he's best and let him operate from there.
On the other end, when Cal's got the ball, because Blakes is playing with 4 fouls, deflected, that's why Stanford can go get it in the backcourt. Would you attack Jalen Blakes?
Absolutely, 100%. He's vital to their end-of-game situation scenarios, his ability to shoot the free throw. Right now, they just got to find a bucket. Stanford is just really struggling offensively.
Andrei Stojakovic isolated against Ryan Agarwal. And a foul on the shot, rather before the shot, but free throws with Cal in the bonus for Stojakovic. It's on Ryan Agarwal, but the Golden Bears are coming. 10-0 run for Cal from 17 down. They've trimmed it to 6 and going to the line. Well, Jalen Blake's not the only one hooping in the Blakes family. Michaela Blakes went for an SEC record 55 for Vandy against Auburn. One of the elite scorers in the women's college game.
She has been fantastic. It's an absolute bucket anytime that she steps on the floor. She followed that one up on Thursday with a 34-point effort, made 7 of 12 threes.
I'm sure they'll be talking about her on College Game Day tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on ESPN. They'll be from Raleigh, and the triple header on ESPN, NC State, Notre Dame at noon Eastern, followed by Carolina and Louisville. And then in the SEC, it's LSU and Kentucky, the triple header of women's hoops. What a day of women's hoops on ESPN. Andrei Stojakovic hits both, and it's now a 4-point game with inside 6.5 minutes to go.
Well, that 17-point lead has just dissipated. It's an 18-5 run. Stanford has come unglued.
Maxime Reynaud out of the double team. Benny Gieler tried to make him pay for the double team. Madi Sissoko pulls it down.
I don't understand. The first 10 minutes of the half, everything for Stanford was inside. Those last 4 minutes, all they're doing is bombing away from the outside.
And it's a 2-point game. Andrei Stojakovic again.
24 points in the paint, with the majority of those coming here in the last 4 minutes. It's like Stanford's rolled out the red carpet for the Cardinals to say, hey, drive it to the middle.
And a foul. And Mark Madsen trying to say it's on Stanford, and it is. He gets the call. An offensive foul for an elbow and a hook on Maxime Reynaud.
Yeah, and Coach Smith is not arguing that whatsoever. Reynaud's right arm comes up awfully high right there. See that right arm comes up right around the back of the neck of Sissoko. Easy call for the officials.
Mark Madsen wants him to look at the monitor, feeling there was an elbow to the head. And wanted the officials to look at the monitor, and they said no, there was no elbow to the head. We're playing on. Jeremiah Wilkinson. He's been the catalyst for Cal, along with Stojakovic, to fuel this comeback. The hands of Jalen Blakes forcing a Cal turnover.
Yeah, a little too much penetration by Tucker. Got down there, or Cardinal can strip that basketball away.
Let's go Stanford! Let's go Stanford! Let's go Stanford!
And a foul, it's on Madi Sissoko for a push. And that's the 4th on Sissoko. And free throws for Maxime Reynaud.
Yeah, Sissoko doesn't like it, but that's the right call. They've been calling that ever since about the 3-minute mark of the first half.
And a 30-second timeout for Cal. 52-50 from a 17 down. Cal has cut it to 2. And Mark Madsen's still upset about the previous call where he felt Sissoko took an elbow to the head.
Well, yeah, and he took the elbow from Stanford's best player. So Madsen is trying to sell the officials that he wants them to go to the monitor to see if that was a flagrant foul, a blow to the above the shoulders. I don't think the officials are going to buy in what he's selling.
Well, they can't go back to it now. Here's what Mark Madsen is talking about. It had to be done at the time. And that's what he's talking about, why he wanted them to go to the monitor. I don't see anything there that would have upgraded the foul.
Yeah. Mark is saying he led with the elbow. He kind of pushed back with his arm, not his elbow. It wasn't bent and it wasn't thrown at the kid's head.
And Madsen's probably saying, trust me, I speak from experience.
Well, listen, it'd be a huge loss, obviously, if Rayno wasn't available for the final 5 minutes of this basketball game, and Madsen knows it. Had it been Benny Geeler hitting somebody, I don't think Madsen would have burned one of his 30-second timeouts to go talk to the officials.
One more for Rayno. I mean, Mike Montgomery used to say about Mark Madsen, he's the kind of guy that he'd battle with you and pop you in the nose and maybe break your nose, but he'd be the first guy to go run and get a towel to help you clean it up.
Yeah, help you clean up the blood on
and
the
And then guess what? You get back to action and he'd do it again. A couple of much-needed free throws for Stanford. Andrei Stojakovic missing, and a long rebound trickles out. Jeremiah Wilkins had it knocked free, and Stanford controls. Rayno.
Let's go Stanford!
Isolated.
Let's go Stanford!
The step back from Maxime Rayno.
Well, just flashing the footwork down on that left baseline. Nice job. Takes his time, surveys the defense. I talked about his court vision, his footwork, his accuracy. That was just a beautiful play there by Rayno.
Christian Tucker. And Benny Keeler the rebound for Stanford.
Benny Keeler. How many boards is this for the Benny Keeler now? I got him with 4 or 5 boards. 6 rebounds for one of the smallest guys on the floor.
Double foul has been called on both Maxime Rayno, his second.
Oh, that's on
Sissoko, that's out. His 5th.
Yeah, if that's
Sissoko fouls out with 3:53 to go. That's a big loss for Cal. The starting big man is done for the night. The double foul. 3:53 to go. Maxime Rayno. This is a big-time move.
This is a big-time move from a big-time player, one of the top players in college basketball, showing out for his mama along the baseline. And there she is. Look at Vanessa's going crazy. She loves it.
Pull Oski away. And in this game, we just had a couple of big guys battling Monty Sissoko and Maxime Rayno.
And they got the double foul.
And the double foul, which is the 5th personal, Rayno has fouled out. Or correction, Sissoko has fouled out. It's the 2nd personal on Rayno. And because of the double foul that go to the arrow and the alternating possession, it's a Stanford ball, 21 on the shot clock.
Well, it's a shame because the loss of Sissoko is their best rebounder, their best interior defender, and their best shot blocker.
And now Lee Dort has the challenge of Rayno. And it's on Lee Dort. Rayno going back to the line.
Well, Rayno just posted down on that left block, and as the ball was swung from the left side to the center to the right side, he just followed the ball and kept Dort on his back. It put so much pressure on Dort, he started pushing from behind because he did not want to get posted too low to the basket because he realizes he's given up length. So he commits the personal foul.
Double bonus, 2 shots for Rayno. And he rolls the first one in. Next Saturday, the Cardinal are an ACC network, part of the middle game of a triple header, as they host Andy Enfield's SMU Mustangs right here at Maples Pavilion. Coverage begins at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on the ACC network. NC State, Georgia Tech, SMU, Stanford. Wrap it up, Florida State at Cameron Indoor. Take on Duke as Rayno hits both.
Duke is hot. They have 110 points on the Illini today with 7 players in double figures. It's a freight train that is rolling down the tracks.
Cal cut it to 2, and now Stanford has pushed it back out to 8, and Jeremiah Wilkinson will get free throws.
Well, they were starting to lose touch here with under 3.5 to play, and Wilkinson does a nice job. He's been going to that basket relentlessly here in the second half, and he just gets that big right shoulder, right into the chest of the defender, draws that contact, and then that little lefty just flips it up on glass to make sure the officials blow that whistle.
4th foul on Benny Gieler. Jeremiah Wilkinson. And he struggled at the line, and 80% on the year is 2 for 5 tonight.
Yeah, his 3rd miss, and that one there seemed like he was shooting with all arms. Never got his lower body engaged. Let's see if he bends those knees and tries to engage that lower body here on his 2nd attempt.
Missed both. First one was short, second one went long.
Overcorrected, right? They had plenty of time in the lab this week to work on the shot, the game, the stroke from the free throw line, and I tell you what, right now, the Cardinal, they're playing a little better in the second half, but they're still shooting sub 40% in the second half.
Osiah Sellers. And the rebound knocked free. Last touch by Stanford. And it belongs to Cal.
Well, the baseline official wasn't sure which way to go. She was so close to the action. She deferred to the official out at half court. I'm not quite sure he knew. He just said, hey, let's give it to the guys in the yellow.
Wilkinson tries to turn the corner, and Jalen Blakes is fouled out. He can't believe it.
Well, Jalen Blakes does a pretty good job sliding those feet, like I said. But when you're the aggressive player offensively with the basketball and you get contact in the shooting motion, officials are going to give you that call 9 times out of 10. And Blakes is in really good legal guarding position, but Wilkinson goes inside and draws the contact. He doesn't fade away from the contact. He goes against the contact, and that's where the officials are going to blow the whistle every time. So just a smart, crafty play by that young freshman.
Jeremiah Wilkinson back to the line. And he hits the first. One more for Wilkinson. Leads Cal with 16. Andrei Stojakovic with 11. Maxime Reynaud 17 to lead Stanford tonight, and 12 for Osiah Sellers as Wilkinson hits both free throws. Benny Gieler has some space, and Andrei Stojakovic the rebound for Cal.
Well, I think that's exactly what Cal needed, a quick shot from long distance so they could get back on the offensive end.
And a foul. Now Benny Gieler has fouled out. Both Stanford point guards are done. Blake's just fouled out. Now Gieler is done. And that puts an awkward position for the Cardinal and Kyle Smith. But how you manage the final 2:29 without your point guards?
Yeah, and Coach Smith, hands on hips, trying to figure out where he wants to go with the substitution. He's going to use as much of his time that is allotted to figure out who he wants to get into this game. He's going to come back big. Going to put the pressure on Sellers and Agarwal to handle the basketball.
And a timeout for Cal with 2:29 to go. Stanford 58, California 52. But it's an interesting situation and a scary predicament right now for Stanford, considering the 2 point guards you've relied on, Jalen Blakes and Benny Gieler, have both fouled out of this game. Now, they had to deal with it recently in terms of not having either one of those guys available for games. When Gieler was out with an illness, was dealing with the flu, and also Jalen Blakes was dealing with a hand injury, so they have some experience in dealing with not having each point guard.
Well, one thing they can do is Maxime Reynaud is pretty good ball handler himself.
They did do some of that.
He's a big outlet target to be able to bail it to. So maybe you try to keep the ball off the floor, not so much with the point guard dribbling it up, and you move it up with the pass.
And that's what Stanford's got to figure out, the final 2:29. Cal was down 17. They fought their way back into this game. What has been the key for Cal to get back in?
Cal's been taking the ball to the basket, right? They're doing a better job defensively. All the easy buckets that Stanford was getting inside in the first 10 minutes of the second half, they have eliminated all of those. Now all of a sudden, Cal's been the aggressive team taking the ball to the basket. Wilkinson taking it in. Peja Stojakovic going inside.
And here's what you're talking about, Scott, with what Cal has done to get back in.
Well, it's been sometimes coast to coast. Wilkinson's on his live ball turnover. Nobody stops the basketball. He just goes right down the left side of this floor like a blur all the way to the basket. The and one, not the mismatch with Reynaud on him. He gives him a strong left-hand drive to the basket. Doesn't take away his strength. And I love that one by Stojakovic coming off of that screen, gains an advantage. So they've been the more aggressive team in the second half, and that's why they got this thing down to a 6-point game.
Rattles in for Stojakovic. 12 points for Stojakovic tonight.
And they talk about Stojakovic being an 82% shooter. It's always a little tougher when the crowd's into it, but he's so calm. He just knocked in 2, and we got ourselves a 4-point ball game here. This is going to get fun. It's been fun.
Stanford has a 2-on-1 if they want it, and they back it away with Donovan Young.
Nice play, smart play by Donovan Young. The high handoff wasn't there. He didn't try to force something around the rim. They can burn a little game clock, throw it into Reynaud, and let him operate. Now he can get himself fouled and goes to the free throw line.
Pass deflected. Aiden Kamen comes away with it. Kamen over to Reynaud, and the rebound pulled down by Cal. Petritis ahead. Jeremiah Wilkinson launching a 3. Pulled down, and Petritis cleans it up, and it's a 2-point game.
Wow, what is going on? I do not think Reynaud realized that the shot clock had reset. He forced a left-hand hook.
Donovan Young missing. Ripped away by Aiden Kamen. And then Cal steals it, but a whistle. And it was, they point to the shot clock here with a minute and a half to go.
Well, the ball did hit the rim on the shot attempt, but it was reset to 20 seconds. So afterwards, there would have been 3 seconds that would have come off of that shot clock. I think the officials may have made a mistake here. I'm not sure if they knew that ball hit the rim.
Our officiating crew, Bill Covington Jr. with Mark Schnurr and Jenna Reynaud. And they're going to the monitor here.
Now we're saying that it may not have hit the rim, and the officials could be correct in that the shot clock shouldn't have been reset.
And checking 2 things. One, what you're talking about, Scott, did it hit the rim? Because if it did hit the rim, they put 20 back up on the shot clock, as Stanford had it in the front court. And then, was the shot clock reset properly, was what they're checking.
Let's see if this shot goes up here. He goes into the corner of the rim right there. Yes.
And it clearly hit the rim.
It hit the rim.
Clearly hit the rim.
Yeah, it bounced off the backboard, then hit the right side of the rim. And Cammy came over here and snatched that thing up.
So I do believe it is correct in terms of you reset the shot clock to 20. Stanford had possession. And it should be a Stanford ball.
Yeah, in a bad way. And I think that's what made Mark Madsen so upset. Like, hey, we lost the ball, but we put a good trap on them. There was a chance we were going to get the basketball back, and the officials stopped the play.
And DJ Campbell did end up with it, but it was probably after the whistle. So they reset it to 30, and they should not have. It should have gone to 20 on the reset.
Yes.
After the shot hit the rim. And now the table, the scorers table, set it to 30 because it appeared to them that Cal had it, is my guess.
Oh, as a change of possession, possibly. Yeah, then it would have gone to 30 right on the change of possession from Stanford to Cal, but maybe they're saying they didn't have clean possession, that it should have only been reset to 20 seconds.
And Cal now getting upset because Stanford's just practicing some shots while they're idly waiting by for this to get sorted out at the monitor.
Well, that's the way rivalry games are supposed to be, right? When we were up by 17, it just didn't feel right. It's supposed to be a one-possession game up in here tonight.
And there's a lot of Cal fans that made the trek to Maples Pavilion tonight, the home of the Stanford Cardinal. And both sides are making some noise right now in a rivalry game that's a 2-point game with 90 seconds
Roxy,
to play.
You gotta love this, right? I mean, the whole pep band, the cheerleaders, the fans, the student body, everybody is into this thing, and you can tell the coaches are sweating through their jumpers over there.
Look, you experienced Duke Carolina. You're getting a taste of Cal Stanford tonight.
It's wonderful. I love it. I have a big smile on my face. When you play in a game like this is one of the things that you remember for the rest of your life. How did you do against Stanford? How did you do against Cal?
How did you do against Duke?
Well, we won 3 of my 4 times when we went to Cameron Indoor. The problem was we lost 2 of the 4 games at home. So we did better at Cameron than we actually did defending our own home court.
Still trying to get this correct. Trying to get the shot clock and the game clock correct here. And again, the reset, when Dort had possession, that's why they put it to 30. But Stanford ripped it away. So they're trying to check the clock.
Well, I always like it when the officials go to the monitor to try to make sure they get it correct. I just don't like when they spend 3, 4, and 5 minutes over there. This game has been too good. The flow of the college basketball game is so good.
So they deemed that Cal had possession. That's why it went to 30, and that's why the shot clock is going to 25. I'm not sure if he had possession long enough, but in their mind, he did. That's why there's 25 on the shot clock for the Cardinal.
Well, that's some extra time that the Cardinal get to burn off that game clock. And I realize it's only a 2-possession game, but as long as you got the lead under 2 minutes, you want it. That clock is, you want that thing to be your friend, not your enemy.
After the extended break, Maxime Reynaud calling for the ball.
Let's go, Stanford!
Ryan Agarwal, 3!
I was just getting ready to say, without their point guards, they're not able to get any penetration below the free throw line. And Ryan Agarwal, the guy that was out here 3 hours before the shoot-around, working on his shot by himself with the shot doctor, knocks in a big triple.
And a foul, and Jeremiah Wilkinson is down. And he'll get to the line with 55 seconds.
You can bet that little freshman's going to get up. He's not leaving this game with under a minute to play. He took a pretty good blow on that jump shot, but that shot by Agarwal, boy, does that show some guts to take that shot in that situation. Look at Wilkerson right here. See if he gets any when he landed, his head goes back into the knee of one of the Stanford players. But this shot right here by Ryan Agarwal, I love when good things happen to hard-working people. And Agarwal put in the work earlier today, and he knocked it down. What happened on that first free throw?
He made it.
Okay, no doubt. This freshman's got some moxie, too.
Agarwal of all 11 since halftime. And Wilkinson hits both, makes it a 1-possession game. And 13 of Wilkinson's 19 coming here in the second half. And a timeout with 55 seconds to play. And defensively, if you're Cal, Scott, how do you play this?
Well, you have 55 seconds, right? You're only down by 1 possession. There's no reason to foul and put them on the line. You know they're shooting 2 free throws. You don't want to fall behind by two 2 possessions. Play solid defense. They've been putting that little backcourt trap on. They'll probably do that again. They're without Blakes, without Gieler. Try to turn them over in the backcourt. See if you can get a live ball turnover. And if not, you fall back and you play great defense. Agarwal hit a tough shot, but they never got any penetration. They didn't get the ball into a good position for Reynaud to operate down on the block.
Keep in mind for Stanford, both their point guards, Jalen Blakes, Benny Gieler, have fouled out. Monty Sissoko, the big man for Cal, has fouled out of this game.
Yeah, if you're Stanford, you want to get the ball down to Reynaud with about 10 seconds down on this right block, or maybe the left block is where he's been operating most of this game. Here's that full court pressure we talked about. Agarwal got bad situation there. Against the sideline with 2 defenders on him, the sideline working as a 3rd defender. He had no place to pass that ball. He had to burn another Stanford timeout.
So Stanford has 1 timeout left. Cal is out of timeouts. On a tie-up, it belongs to Cal. As the top 7, this is what Stanford is in the middle of. Stanford needs to win to keep pace with your alma mater as North Carolina won earlier today. Should they end in a tie, Stanford would have the edge in the tiebreaker because they won at the Dean Dome against Carolina. But a critical week for Stanford with Boston College coming in, and then SMU. And the Mustangs are coming west to the Bay Area where the coaching staff's in familiar ground. Andy Enfield, longtime coach at USC, knows exactly what he's getting into with Cal and Stanford. Although Kyle Smith in his first year at Stanford, but Andy knows him well, having coached against him when he was at Washington State.
Yeah, it's, you know, and that's exactly what Coach Smith wants. Like, just finishing that top part where you can get the bye in the first round of that ACC tournament. I believe it's the first, 9 teams will get at least a one game bye. I was just looking at Reynaud's body language coming out of that timeout there. Looks like he's poised, under control, realizing I'm about to go to work right here. If we can get the ball over half court. Look at this.
Ball knocked free. Cal steals it. DJ Campbell and a foul will get Cal to the line with 46.5 seconds.
Well, Madsen got exactly what he wanted. He slapped that pressure on in the backcourt and had Stanford cough the basketball up. Reynaud's out here at half court. I think he's got to get more involved closer to that 3-point line to be a big outlet for his teammates.
DJ Campbell, 7 points tonight. 78% foul shooter, 2 shots. 4th foul on Isaiah Sellers.
Well, very crucial that Stanford gets this rebound should Campbell miss this free throw. And then they got to get the ball in cleanly and get it over half court.
Campbell missed both. And the rebound, Cal's got it. Andrei Stojakovic down the lane. And 1 for Stojakovic.
Well, it's very rarely the shot that beats you. It's the rebound sometimes that is the most dangerous. That time, Petritis, we talked about him being an offensive master on the glass. He gets almost 3 rebounds, offensive rebounds per game in the ACC, and he just outworks Cameron to the basketball. And then look at Stojakovic, son of an NBA basketball player, takes it hard to the rack, handles the contact, the concentration, and the finish. Chance to tie it up from the line.
Tied game, 42 seconds. And this pressure has really bothered Stanford. Ryan Agarwal breaks it, looks to attack. Agarwal, Lee Dort blocks the shot out of bounds at the Stanford ball. And Agarwal comes up hobbling.
Agarwal seems to be okay. It almost like his shoe came dislodged a little bit. He had to get his shoe back on. But how about the defense at the point of attack here by Dort? He stays nice and high and swats that thing away.
Isaiah Sellers, Jeremiah Wilkinson climbs the ladder to block the shot.
Well, I understand running your baseline out of bounds play for a high percentage shot, but he was well guarded. I was surprised Sellers even went up with that shot.
Lee Dort, the foul. Reynaud to the line.
That's the last thing you wanted to do, Dort. You know you're in the double bonus with every foul. You had him a good 14 feet away from the basket. Just hold what you got right there. That extra little bump with the thigh into the back of side of Reynaud is what he gets whistled for the foul. Look at that, just that little bump there, and it's going to send Reynaud to the free throw line.
Reynaud 5 for 6 from the line tonight. 78% on the year.
Yeah, and he's been shooting 90% in ACC play.
And Stanford reclaims the lead. One more shot for Maxime Reynaud. And keep in mind, Cal is out of timeouts. Stanford has one remaining.
Yeah, but I think Cal knows what to do. Get the ball in the hands of Wilkerson. Let him penetrate to the basket. Let him penetrate to the basket. If he gets stopped, they're going to have to bring a second defender over. Then he's got to do the job to find the open guy. Hopefully it'll be Stojakovic if you're Mark Madsen and let him knock in a three here.
And Reynaud nails both. The clock has stopped, and that's why they have stopped play. Our officiating crew recognizing that, and now the clock continues to run. They're going to have to go to the monitor to get this figured out again.
Figure out the right time. I remember Coach Smith just throwing his hands in the air like, come on, clock operator, get this thing right.
Mark Madsen will take this. He doesn't have a timeout. So this gives him an opportunity to drop a play.
Great observation. Yes, Madsen.
So much for the home court advantage for Stanford. But then again, you're talking about somebody who's in the Stanford Hall of Fame coaching Cal.
Yeah, well,
maybe somebody at the scores table remembers Mad Dog from his days in the Cardinal and White.
Exactly what Madsen needed here to be able to draw this one up. And they put the ball in the hands of Stojakovic. There's only about 1.9 seconds between the shot clock and the game clock after they probably get it all straightened out. So they're going to put the ball in the hands of Stojakovic, their leading scorer, and see if he can operate something for himself or for one of his teammates.
It's been Wilkinson and Stojakovic that have carried Cal back into this game. They were 17 down here in the second half. They tied it, and now after the Maxime Reynaud free throws, Stanford clinging to a 2-point lead.
Well, Cal has had 2 games that have gone down to the wire and ended up in overtime. I wouldn't be surprised if Madsen, the NBA philosophy is when you got a chance to try to win the game at the end with a 3, you go ahead and shoot the 3. If you're at home, you try to tie the game, but on the road, he might try to shoot the 3.
So the clock stopped. They need to get it corrected, which they did at 27-2. The problem is they didn't reset the shot clock. The shot clock and the game clock were very close to each other, but now there's a 5-second differential.
Yeah, that's where I was thrown. There was a 1.9 second differential between shot clock and game clock, and now it's showing 1.2 seconds.
Now they have it to 26.
They got it right. Okay, so 1.2 second differential. So essentially, Cal can hold for the final shot and try to win this thing at the buzzer.
Would you look to do it that way, or are you looking for the best shot you can get at the doesn't matter when?
If I could get the ball in the hands of Wilkinson and let him drive to the basket, I like him attacking the basket with a chance to try to finish it at the bucket or get to the foul line. If not, let Stojakovic crack up a 3 and try to win this thing.
Stojakovic against Sellers, who's playing with 4 fouls. Stojakovic, the miss, and the rebound. Reynaud.
Well, Reynaud battled 2 guys in yellow shirts underneath there. One of the top rebounders in the country, flexing his muscles underneath and got that rebound. Now he's got to go to the line and make 2 free throws. He's been shooting 45 of 50 in ACC play from the free throw line. Look at this. Good job by Sellers playing without fouling Stojakovic. And look at that, Reynaud. He just screamed with a rebel yell, "Let's go!" Now he's got to calm those motion, that nerve, that adrenaline, and knock down 2 freebies.
7 for 8 from the line tonight for Maxime Reynaud. 16.5 seconds. And Reynaud puts Stanford up 3.
He's shooting at the basket with his mom sitting just left of the hoop. And when he made that first one, she threw both of her arms up in jubilation.
His 15th 20-point game of the season. this one to make it a 2-possession game.
Remember, Cal's got no timeouts. They got to race this to the other end. Oh, he missed it. They left the door open.
Would you foul if you're Stanford?
No, too much time on the clock.
Jeremiah Wilkinson trying to create a look. Here's Wilkinson for 3. And the rebound tipped around, and Osiah Sellers has it for Stanford, and that, with 0.7 seconds remaining, should do it.
Well, Wilkinson got a good look. He just couldn't get it to go. Good defense. The last 2 possessions by Stanford, they stayed nice and long, challenged shooters, and did not foul, kept Cal off of that free throw line. What a game. Just one more time. Agarwal out there, challenges high, does not foul, just front rimming off.
Sellers shooting 2. And that should do it now. 4-point game. Sellers a perfect 6 for 6 from the line.
Well, they'll break that 2-game losing streak, and it wasn't pretty. There's some things to tighten up for the next time they hit the court, but they're going to take this victory, and a big one over the rivals.
And Stanford hangs on. They blew all of a 17-point lead, but then had enough in the final minute to find a way to get the win. And a much-needed win for the Cardinal. Now 17-10, 9-7 in the ACC. Tough loss for Cal. The Golden Bears have dropped 4 straight, 5 of their last 6, and Cal is now 12-15 overall.
Well, I like that. I love the way Mark Madsen's group fought back. He's got a super freshman and a nice sophomore, Stojakovic.
66-61, Stanford with the win. For Scott Williams on our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein, so long for the Bay Area.